IIAD, full form being Indian Institute of Art and Design, we started with the first batch of students in 2015. The idea of IIAD, of establishing a design school, goes, I think, way back to 2012. In higher education space since 2006. The first institute that I established was by the name of Indian School of Business and Finance, ISBF, where we were offering undergraduate courses in economics, finance, and management in collaboration with University of London and London School of Economics. So after spending about 8 years, offering undergraduate programs in that space, in I think 2011, 12, we were exploring uh, that which are the areas where there aren't many colleges, offering programs in niche areas. And we came across design. Back in 2012, there were hardly any design schools in Delhi NCR, generally across the country as well, barring one or two options. And at that point, I felt that I think there's a need for more design schools in the country. It's an emerging field, uh, and we have an opportunity to be able to offer some great courses. We felt that as the time goes by, design as a discipline will gain popularity. So we started working on the project and exploring what kind of design schools to establish. We traveled in Europe and UK, particularly, explored potential partnerships and opportunities. And I think about 2014, we narrowed down and partnered with Kingston School of Art, which is part of Kingston University London, as our academic partner. Kingston School of Art is more than 100 years old, design school. It has been ranked by the Times Good University Guide in UK for the last 2 years. It's ranked KSA as the number one design school in London. So we really wanted to partner with somebody who's very, very reputed and very good and has a long history. Uh, and we forged that partnership in 2014, and we established a campus in Delhi and started our first batch in 2015. All our undergraduate design courses are 4 years in duration, out of which the first year is what we call foundation in design. So all students go through that common course curriculum because our the focus on design education within the schooling and high schooling is very limited in India. So whether the courses that we offer are communication design, interior architecture design, fashion communication, that's in the design space. We also offer an undergraduate program in fashion business management. That's a 3-year undergraduate program. And at the postgraduate level, we offer a master's in fashion business management as a 2-year program. That's the only master's that we offer. Yes, that is the only management course we offer. The 4 design courses have a common first year, which is called Foundation in Design. And then the next 3 years are respective, specializations, whether the 4 specializations I spoke about. Those are design-centric courses where the core is design. Uh, and the management course is, in a sense, it is like a bachelor's in business management with a specialization in fashion management. So the target audience, well, whenever we look at a course, we look at what is the outcome and the career outcome of that course first, right? Rather than saying who's going to apply for it. So we've been offering fashion design courses since 2015, and we've been interfacing with the industry for internships, placements, recruitments, and so on and so forth. During our interface with the apparel industry, which is one of the largest sectors in the country, we realize there's equal demand for students who have skills in marketing, retail, merchandising, the business side of fashion. In fact, an increasing demand in that. And that is what led to us to offer this course. If you notice, in the last 5 or 7 years, hundreds of multinational fashion brands have come to India. Whether it's Zara, H&M, Uniqlo. These are slightly mid-market brands, and they're the designer brands, and they're mass market brands as well. These companies do not require to design a collection because they have global designs. They already have their own design centers wherever in the world. Like, for example, Zara probably has their own design center in Spain, being a global company, but they require talent for everything else barring design. So it's merchandising, it's retail, it's supply chain, right? It is marketing, business development. So a fashion business management course is covers all aspects of the business management, but with a context of the apparel industry. So graduates of this course would fit in very well in whether it's mass market brand, mid market, or designer brands in the business side of fashion, right? Everything after the collection is designed, or even including deciding what price points to offer, who's the target audience, how to market it, how to retail it, if you're importing it, how to merchandise it, and so on and so forth. So the career opportunity in this space is uh, quite large and rapidly growing. The general awareness is limited about design, even amongst parents who guide their children, right? And among students as well. A large section of society thinks design is just fashion design. Fashion design is part of design, but that is just a very narrow definition of what design is. There are so many more courses, and so many more courses that are emerged in the last few years in the sphere of design, and there is lack of knowledge and understanding, certainly at the high school students level. Their families, they're also confused. A lot of times we speak to parents, and they say my kid is good in drawing or is interested in design, but not very clear what to do, which is quite understandable. We as a design school do try and do as much school outreach as we can, go to various schools and run workshops and sessions on what is design, and talk about all the design courses that we have on offer, because I think you have to explain it over a session to make somebody understand what all design can be. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody is interested in fashion design, right? They're interested in fashion. They don't know whether it's fashion design, fashion marketing, fashion communication, or what. In our case, we have three courses within the sphere of fashion. So there's pure fashion design, we have a degree in fashion communication, and then we have a degree in fashion management. All three cater to the fashion industry, but they all three have very different career paths. So fashion design is something where you design a collection, right? Uh, Fashion communication is focused on promotion and marketing, right? Which is, today, promoting a brand is mostly about storytelling on social media and YouTube and a lot of video and photo shoots. So it's a narrative that has to be built. Uh, and fashion management also then focuses on the marketing, retail, and the business side of fashion. Uh, at least at IID, many students do come into the foundation. Of course, they have to declare their specialization when they apply to us. But sometimes, in consultation with the faculty, when they spend a year in our campus and they see the work of students of the seniors, because it's in the same campus. When you're in the first year, you get to see what your seniors are doing. You get to exposure to all departments, and many times during the first year, they realize that what they want to do is not what they applied for from the second year onwards. And given if there are openings in other departments, because students do cross change, we facilitate that. So that is in our particular case. But the best way really for students to understand prior to applying is try and attend sessions where they're happening by colleges or counselors who talk about the discipline of design. The internet is a great resource. You can read a lot about it on Google searches or YouTube videos about what all different disciplines of design are there and what they can lead to. uh, and if possible, consult some seniors from your school who probably are studying in a design school. We also try and organize school visits or open days on our campus where students can come and see for themselves various aspects of what design is. Every year in the last week of May, we have something called the graduate show. So all the graduating students make their final display of their projects, the final graduating projects, uh, whether communication design, fashion communication, interior design, or fashion design students. Uh, it's an open, anybody can walk in. We publicize that. That's a great place to come and see what kind of work various disciplines, output is created by various disciplines. So these are some of the few opportunities students can explore to understand the discipline before they think about where they want to apply. At IID, if you have the opportunity to visit our campus, you'll see that we have no classrooms. They're all studios. So we teach through a hands-on practical approach of design. We teach through projects. Students go from project to project. You know, a term which is half a year can have as many as 3 to 4 to 5 projects. Uh, they're very practical in nature, and we have this philosophy of thinking through making. So we make sure that students work with their hands as well as all digital tools. So making has a lot of emphasis. Practical exposure and teaching through projects has a lot of emphasis. We also work with industry and NGOs and all to do live projects. Either you pick up a social cause or a business cause, and our students work on a real world problem as part of the project. So it creates alignment with what they plan to do. I mean, it readies them better for their careers. Also, at the end of the day, they're learning a skill-based course which has to be relevant to the industry they go to. So after our second year, students have the opportunity to do a 2 month internship. And after the third year, students have to mandatorily do a 4 month internship before they start their fourth and final year. So there's a fair amount of industry exposure built in the 4 year program. So by the time you graduate, you have a very good sense of how the industry works through live projects, through internships. Also, being in Delhi and centrally located in Delhi, we get access to a lot of practitioners who come and teach. So these are some of the things that I think that differentiates IID. When COVID happened, we were forced, like everyone else, to teach online. And we took that opportunity to invest in good technology, in pedagogy, in upskilling our faculty to teach online, because that was the only way we could have delivered the course. And during those 2 years, we really worked very hard to ensure that the delivery is of high quality to our full-time undergraduate students. That was a new skill that we ended up learning, because teaching a course which is very hands-on is a bit more challenging than teaching, let's say, a management course, which is more theoretical in nature. And while we've been liaising with the industry for internships and placements, so we have a good connection with industry, we realize that the demand for design talent is far greater than what we'll be able to produce, maybe 200 or 300 design graduates a year, and that also within each discipline, maybe 50, 60 design graduates a year. I think there was a report which said that there are 3 to 5,000 design graduates in India, and the demand is of 40, 50,000. And we've had inquiries from a lot of fresh graduates or young working professionals who want to learn design. We collected that experience of online education that we had during COVID, and we started a new venture called And Academy. And Academy's focus is on offering skilling courses in design, which are short term in nature. And the persona that we designed the courses for were young working professionals. So typically, our audience is in the age of 20 to 30 to 40. Uh, Most of them, perhaps working professionals. Uh, there's no age limitation to come and do a course. There is no prerequisite to come and do a course. If you have an interest in learning interior design or graphic design or user experience design at any age, at any location in the country, you're most welcome to come. It's an opt-in course, and we created a concept of stackable qualifications there. So you start with a 16-week course, which is called a certificate. Even in that 16 weeks, the classes are held from 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., 2 days a week, perhaps something like a Tuesday evening and a Thursday or a Friday evening. That's 6 hours of live teaching. And we restrict the intake to 30 per cohort, right? So we start 3 cohorts a year. So we're trying to give them the same experience as we would in campus. So the teaching is done in meeting mode, not webinar mode. It's highly interactive, and it's a diverse group of learners from all across the country, different age groups and different backgrounds, with a common interest and passion to learn that discipline. And so the timings have been designed and the workload has been designed so you could do that alongside your studies or your work. And if you found interest in the discipline, you want to take it to the next level of depth, then you could do another 16 weeks from certificate that becomes a diploma. And if you want to take it further, you could do a third 16 weeks, and that takes it to a postgraduate diploma. So learners have options of studying various depths. They can also finish at a level go and practice and come back at a later date and do another level, and so on and so forth. Creates a lot of flexibility. So this is something we started last June, and it's been very successful. We have, I think, learners from 40, 50 cities across the country. And in particularly, we have a lot of learners from tier 3 and tier 4 cities who would not get access to this quality of faculty that we provide. We have signed MOUs with various universities, for opportunities for students to transfer. A lot of them are in UK, including Kingston itself, and say Nottingham Trent, University of uh, Creative Arts, and many others, where students can apply after the first 2 years for transferring to do the balance 2 years. In many cases, universities also accept students to transfer after 3 years to do their final year. It's a choice students have. We're signing the MOUs to create that choice for our students. It's a one-way transfer, because when you move from one country to another, and the curriculum and the approach will change from country to country, university to university. So we don't encourage that going for a year and coming back, because the student is then lost. So typically we encourage to do, there are two options. Either they can transfer after this in the third year, so they can do the third and fourth year in the respective university, and the respective university will be granting the final degree. In some cases, we have also have MOU where students can transfer in the final year, and they will still get a final degree from the university they're transferring to internationally. So these are just opportunities that we've created for our students who have as many opportunities to explore them if they want to do that. Besides that, we also have MOUs with various universities for masters, where they're giving scholarships, or a fast track admission based on. So all these MOUs happen once the partnering university studies the curriculum in detail and believes that the curriculum maps well with similarly to how they are teaching the course. So this is designed to create opportunities for students, and perhaps make international education more affordable, because even if they were only doing 50% of the degree abroad, their cost reduces by almost 40%, for what it would cost them to do a 4-year program in UK. And if they're doing their final year, then the cost is not even 25-30% of what it would cost to do a course in UK. Internships, as I mentioned, are a critical part of our course, and especially if I talk about what we call as a long internship, which is 4 months. That is after the third year. So by the third year, you have enough depth in your discipline where you'll be able to add value to whichever company you're doing internship in. And the 4-month internship has been appreciated by the industry and students both, because what we realize in short internships is that most companies don't put them on any interesting projects, because they know by the time they train them within 1.5, 2 months, they have to leave. And the students are put on mundane tasks. But when they know the student is there with them for 4 months, they don't mind investing in training in them for at least a month, wherein they can add value to the company for the next 3 months. So students, like for example, in fashion design, I worked with a number of designers and design companies, in their collection, even in their fashion week collection, during that time of the year, or whether it's interior design, they work with architects and studios, where they put on real projects. They're practically like an employee of a company for those 4 months. Or even in communication design, with all the design studios. So I think this is something which is, we feel very important for a design school to do. And we've seen an drastic change in our students' attitude and approach once they come back from the 4-month internship. They've practically spent 1/4 of a year working in a real world setting, and that really helps them in their fourth year to decide what their major design project is going to be and what industry they want to go to, and also brings in a level of professionalism in them. The outlook and approach changes from, they become more mature. So when it comes to placing them in the final year, they're also more aware about the industry. And in many cases, a lot of companies who are happy with the students and the students want to work for that company, they also offer them final placements. In our case, as I said, that we are mostly an undergraduate institution, and about 70 to 75% of our learners are girls. That seems to be the nature of the audience of design education in India. And not every undergraduate student is looking to get a job right after college, right? Some of them want to apply for further education. Some of them join their family ventures, and some of them are seeking placements. So what we have is a career services division in our institute, right, which has four people with a senior person leading it. The role of career services is to do a module. So in when the students come back, when they begin their fourth year, they go through a module where they teach them how to write a CV, how to create a LinkedIn profile, the aspects of careers which are not related to your discipline, right? Uh, and how to approach an interview and so on and so forth. So they go through a formal module in that. Um, on a regular basis during the placement time, various opportunities are shared with students. Whoever wants to apply can apply for those opportunities. And that the career services team holds their hand through the entire process. This is how we approach our final placements. Um, if I was to talk about the average stats, I would say that many students show interest in placements, but approximately not more than 30 to 35, maximum 40% of the batch actually goes for placements. So not everybody is approaching the career services division. Now, what we call it is the opt-in students, the ones who have shown interest, signed a form, are attending the sessions, and are responding to placement opportunities. Those are the students the career services works with. In fact, they do a session with each student one-on-one to understand what are their aspirations, what kind of roles or companies they are looking for, do they have a locational preference. So once they make the database, when we get incoming inquiries for placements, then accordingly students are shortlisted, but we send them to all students. Our students have been placed in, I think, fairly reputed design studios across the country. For example, in interior architecture, we have students who've been, selected in Incubus, Studio Lotus, Morphogenesis, Live Space, VR Homes, and many others. Uh, in communication design, which is a different sector altogether, a lot of opportunities are also created by tech firms because they're looking for graduates who are proficient in user experience and user interface design, which is part of our communication design course. So even companies like IBM or InfoEdge, Yatra, and Cognizant also recruit besides regular design studios, right? Uh, in fashion design, we have a mix of, you know, designers and large corporates. So even an Aditya Birla fashion lifestyle retail would recruit. They own a number of brands under the parent company, or designers like 1111 or Thavesa, or companies like Fab India, large export houses like Odeon Craft, uh, and many other, designers. Similarly, in fashion management, again, it is similar in nature. The same apparel companies, maybe in companies such as Decathlon or H&M, or lifestyle companies also recruit a fashion management graduates. Uh, each discipline caters to a different industry, so the range of packages would differ for a communication design graduate versus an interior design graduate versus a fashion design graduate. A typical range for interior architecture students would be, 4 to 6 lakh rupees package, or for a communication design, it would be in the range of about 6.5 to 12 lakh rupees compensation. For a fashion design student, it can range from between 3 to 6 lakh rupees. Similarly, for fashion management, again, it would be more in the range of 4.5, 5 to 6 to 7 lakh rupees. So these are the typical ranges that we have seen that our students have achieved within when they're getting placed on campus. But I think what's even more important is we try and track the progress of our student, what happens after 1 year and 2 years of their joining a company. And we've been really pleased to see that our students have done very well. They've grown fast, and within the companies. We have had students in 3 year journey are becoming in very senior positions, leading design teams. So I think it's not just where they start, but what they've learned over the 4 years in the training would be reflective in where can they be in 2 to 3 years. Many of our students go for masters either right after college or even after working out a couple of years. They've gone to masters from some of the top design schools all over the world, including Savannah College of Art, or London School of Fashion, or Parsons, and many others across the world. I'll give an advice which you didn't ask, and it's an advice to the parents, right? That I think if your child is interested in design, you must encourage them. Design is as remunerative a career as any other. I think design has become mainstream in business and industry. There are multiple opportunities for design graduates. Many of our graduates are even doing very well as freelancers because it's one of those disciplines where you might not seek a full-time employment. You want to do project-based, take up projects. Uh, so I think I just want to break the myth that design we are very career focused as an institute, right? We are teaching design. We are not an art school where you're learning fine arts and you don't know what to do after that. It is very focused with industry and it's very focused on the discipline. And our aim is to make sure that you are industry ready by the time you graduate. So that is one. My advice to students who are looking at design is firstly, I think, do your homework. Try and go and see as many design schools as you can. They have open days. Try and hear as many talks. Seek advice and see the design school that you're planning to join. Give you some level of flexibility, but nobody knows for 100% sure when they start a design program, did they choose the right one? So I think flexibility is key. We offer that, and I'm assuming many other institutes should offer that. Uh, and rest assured that if that is your passion, the career opportunities are ample.